What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. My name is AJ, and today the big question, which there's a million videos out there on YouTube, but how to drive a manual transmission vehicle. So we'll kind of be switching between cameras as to what's going on. This is a 2015 Corvette Z06 in a 7-speed manual transmission. So with that being said, let me pull up this camera, 2 seconds. All right, as I said, as you can see, the Z06 here, and so we have our manual transmission. So there are 7 gears, as you can see there. So obviously, you're going to start, always take the emergency brake off. Some cars will have a pull handle. This one does not, so you just hit the button. So now we're going to push in the clutch, which is on the left-hand side. You can see the pedal there. I'm on the brake. So brake first, clutch all the way in, all the way over left, up, first gear. Some cars are actually down here, which is a super rare, like if you have like, I don't know what it is, a Lamborghini Countach or something is down there, but pretty much all cars are to the left and up. So we're in first, as you can see right there. You'll see it come out, nothing there. Second, third, fourth, so on and so forth. So first gear. So the first thing you're going to want to do, in my opinion, is let off the brake. You can see the RPMs here. I'm letting out on the clutch just slowly, slowly, slowly. It's grabbing, you can see it rolling, and then it'll engage. All right, again, foot off the brake. This is a dead flat area. So let out slowly, 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 starting to roll. Starting to roll. I'm leaving my foot in the exact spot. Let it out just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, all the way engaged. I never touched the gas pedal. I never touched it. All right, so we're in first gear. Now, it's telling me to go first to fourth. That's a thing. I don't like that. A little bit of gas, off the gas, shift, in second gear. Coming up to a stop sign, push the clutch in, throw it in neutral, back into first. Again, just barely let out that clutch. If you want to give it just a hair of gas, you can. Now, there's going to be some cars that naturally you're going to have to give it some gas, like a little like 4-cylinder or something, because it's harder to hear. This car, you have the exhaust, you can kind of hear when it'll start to die down. But into third, you can even hear it whenever I let off the gas. Fourth, same thing, smooth as can be. All right, so there's like our garage flooring, from where it was like a little bit wet or whatever, it stuck to the wheel slightly. So I'm gonna have to like get rid of that. You can like hear it like ever so slightly every time it's rotating. So hold on. All right, there we go. Rev Match on. That's a nice thing. You know, I can teach you that, but just go straight into the gear. It does it for you. Like, it's so great. Do you like Rev Match? Yep. Yeah, Rev Match is pretty great. It's, I don't know, it makes it super easy to drive stick if you want to downshift. I mean, you can hear it. So, yeah. So we fixed that remedy, long story short. Now, how do you downshift without having Rev Match? That is like a question I've actually gotten quite a bit, to be totally honest. It's pretty simple. Now, you're not going to want to probably do this on your first like day or two of driving stick, to be honest, because it is a little bit more difficult. It just takes more footwork, but it's still not, I wouldn't consider it hard. There's nothing hard about driving a manual. It's just a matter of getting used to it. So if I was going to be downshifting on my own, right now I'm in 4th gear at 40 miles an hour. And right here, you can see it. We'll switch to this camera. So if I wanted to downshift on my own, I'm literally going to push in the clutch, rev it up, and go into the lower gear, and there it is. And that's how you do a downshift. Merging onto the freeway. Always merge at speed though, like for real. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a 4-cylinder or whatever. That's like just a driving tip that clearly a lot of people didn't pay attention to in driving class, and I'm not sure why that is. But you merge at the pace of traffic. So if it's 70 miles an hour, you should be doing at least 65 to be merging. If not, you should be doing 70 miles an hour when you come up to get on. The people that hit their brakes and slow down, that's what causes traffic jams. So please, please pay attention. There's a C8 over there. Sweet. Sorry. Yeah, I guess you might see it on the PDR, maybe. Not sure. Now, is driving a manual any different when on the freeway? No, obviously. I'm in 7th gear. As you can see on the PDR, it has the 7th gear on there. You can see it. And you just cruise. And the other question, I guess, that people really just don't know, like, is there cruise control on a manual? Yes, there is cruise control on a manual. So right here is the cruise control, and it's like any other cruise control. This is to turn it on, which you can see the indicator right there. And it'll go green whenever I set it, which I just have to press that button. So press it, boom, we're set, 73 miles an hour. And now you're just cruising. Now, if I wanted to cancel the cruise control, it's no different than an automatic. I can just press the brake or push in the clutch. Whatever you want to do, it'll cancel it. Or I can even just hit the center button right there and it'll cancel it. So, yeah, it's no different. So, we're showing you how to drive a manual transmission. So, one question that also comes up sometimes that I've gotten in my DMs, why would you choose a manual over an automatic? Have you ever been asked that question before? No? Never? Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I definitely have. So, if you want to have more fun driving the car, like, to me, a manual is just so much more fun. You're actually doing something. It's not just drive the car like any other automatic, like everybody can do it. So many people nowadays, like, you'll talk to them and be like, yeah, I got a manual transmission. They're like, oh yeah, me too. It's got paddles. You hit plus and minus. Not a manual transmission. To be very clear, a manual transmission is when you have a third pedal, the clutch. If you don't have that, not a manual. Very clear about that. So, being able to push in that clutch and taking off as quick as you can without stalling the vehicle and without burning the clutch, that takes skill and talent over time, obviously. So it's not just mash the pedal and go, or whatever in an automatic. Like, you're more involved with the car. It's more a driver's car when you have the manual transmission. So, where would you live that I would highly not recommend a manual transmission? Absolutely. That's like number one. Anywhere in the city, honestly. So, real quick, New York. I'm going to cancel the cruise, hit the brake. You hear it slowing down, downshift. That's it. And that's Rev Match. You can hear how quick and snappy it is. And it's dead precise, exactly what it needs to be. Chevrolet did an outstanding job with Rev Match. Absolutely love that feature. It does actually, like, it makes it so much easier that sometimes it's not as fun, but you don't have to use it. I can just hit a paddle, take it off, and I can do it manually myself if I really want to. But there's really just no sense in doing that, to be totally honest. Yeah. Anyway, big cities, you don't want a manual transmission. Number one, you're going to literally just wear out the clutch really bad, and I just don't see why you would necessarily want to do that. I mean, you're constantly stop, go, I mean, that is just, oh, that would be awful. So if you live out in the country or somewhere where, like, you know, you see on this footage, like, you can just kind of like jump out and go on the freeway, like, that's honestly the best thing that you could do for a manual transmission, because Just kidding, sort of. All right, let's do it again. We're just about to pull out of the gas station here, so push in your clutch, foot on the brake, obviously. First gear, foot off the brake, letting out, letting out, letting out. Keep my foot there, just a little bit of gas. And then you'll feel it engage right there. It's engaged. Let off the clutch, totally. See, now we're rolling. All right, right at stop sign, looking both ways. Let out, a little bit of gas. Keep your foot there, and now you're rolling. It's really that simple. Like once you feel the car just barely start rolling, that's whenever you have to keep your foot dead still, right where it just starts to pull. If you start letting it out, it's gonna jerk and do all sorts of things. You don't want that, trust me. You just don't. So, foot in, on the clutch, it's in neutral. Now we're just rolling in neutral. Come up to the light. I leave it in neutral the whole time, generally, until I'm ready to go. Once I'm ready to go, so that way you're not holding the clutch in the whole time. Well, we just had a C8 pull up next to us, but ready to roll. So what are the biggest differences in clutch feel? Because that's also a great point of topic, because every manual transmission is going to drive slightly differently. The clutch is going to be more stiff. What more stiff means is it's harder to push in. It's more weight on the spring, basically, of the clutch, which is very difficult. And then here's a pro tip. You see a speed bump, you just go out and around them when you're in a sports car, because it's a pain in the butt. It's like so. But the differences in the clutch pedal is going to be a big difference. Like some are really heavy, some are like super light, like feathery. You can just like push it in and out like super easy. So that's going to be the things that change, and that's going to change the way you feel the car out as to what you want to release or don't want to release. That's going to be your main differences. The other thing is how tight are the gears. And what I mean by that is the actual gear pattern. So on this video camera, we'll switch it over here. So right here. So how tight are the gears? So if I push in the clutch and I go all the way over to the left, that's first. All the way back is second. And that's third. You can see it there, third. Make sure I'm not lying. And that's how tight it is. So third to first, third over fifth. So that's how tight are these gears left and right to each other. Some are going to be a lot more loose. So you might have first here, and where fifth is all the way over there, that'll be like your second gear. Like some are that open of a pattern. So that's a big deal too, because whenever you're driving, feeling it out and knowing where you're going is going to be a big deal. Especially if you're trying to move very quickly, because it's called missing a gear. You'll hear people laugh, ha, you missed a gear. Well, that's one of two things. One, technically I guess you'd call it skipping a gear and going into the wrong one because you go over too far. Or missing a gear is you tried to go into it really quickly, and because it was so tight, you let out the clutch too quick and you miss it. It basically blocks it to where it won't go in, which I'm not doing as an example because it's horrible for your car. So those are the main things. Hopefully today's video taught you guys a little bit how to drive a manual transmission. It's very easy. Start on downhill because your car is going to automatically start rolling. Once you get to feel that clutch pedal, then you can start on flat surface after you've done downhill. And then last but not least, go to an uphill. There's several tricks that you can do. Number one, instead of wearing out your clutch, if you set your e-brake, especially if you have a handle e-brake, hold it, let off the actual brake, have your clutch in, have it in first gear, start to let out the clutch, give it a little bit of gas, you'll feel it kind of start to pull, start letting your e-brake down, and then let your clutch out slowly as you start to roll. That's the best way you can do it to learn. So without further ado, if you guys like this video, if you found it helpful, like it, dislike it, I guess I don't really care. Comment below though what you would want to see if you want any different tips from what I gave today. But just like that, this video is over. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.